Hey there everybody, Jack Barnwell here down in Naples, Florida. And today we thought it'd be fun to get y'all caught up on another project and thing we're working on here today. This is a giant, huge, beautiful condo building here in Naples. There are 7 of them in this big association called the Dunes. And we have just, I redesigned the whole landscape here and did a kind of a tune-up or a rebuff of the landscape. And there's many landscapes down here that are in that 15 to 20-year-old mark, and they just need a little revitalization. Not a complete, scrape job by any means, but just a bit of a tune-up. So we thought it'd be fun to show you through what we did with the design here and take you through some of the finishing touches that we're working on with this really cool Bromeliad garden and stuff over by the entry. So let's dive in. All right, so here at the Dunes, this building is called the Barbados building. They're all named after Caribbean islands, which is quite fitting and fun here, being right on the beach and the breeze always blowing through the palm trees and whatnot. It's a beautiful place to work for sure, but we don't get a lot of time to hang out on the beach or poolside. But we redesigned this landscape, like I said, to just get a little bit of a tune-up to it. All of the trees and larger elements stayed for the most part, and we just added in some new fresh shrub material and some new lines and some new color to just get it a little boost of new life. And one plant that we added in is this really bright and fun arboricola. This particular variety is called Dazzle, and we really like it. It's got a bigger, kind of looser leaf habit than your typical Trinette arboricola, which is very popular down in these southern parts. So we did some big swath, kind of rolling lines of Dazzle that define, and separate our annual pockets and other bigger shrub elements and stuff with these ixoras and the ginger and stuff of these garden beds. Now, today we just did a lot of work here. We finished and replanted all the annual pockets. As you can see, some irrigation is coming up to water them all in. That all just got installed, and as you can also see, there is some poinsettias in the ground. And down here in southern Florida, we can plant them as an annual flower, believe it or not. They give us a lot of bright red, fun, festive Christmas color, and they'll stay red and beautiful while those purple sun patients are coming up and blooming all around them. So this beautiful purple and red theme to it. As the poinsettias fade, they'll just lose their red, but they'll stay green, and the sun patients will really fill out and get big. And we've got some beautiful Victoria blue salvia, the purple sun patients, and a nice border of white alyssum. Pretty simple, but it'll be a really stark and stunning color combination, especially with those ribbons of that Dazzle arboricola behind it. So another element and thing that we did here at the Barbados building to kind of tune things up, we added these new Carpinteria palm trees along the building in there, and the copperleaf shrubs there. We redid that island, actually all the islands out in the parking lot and stuff, but just adding a little elements in and keeping everything about the landscape that still had good integrity and good bones. So all the shrubs that still looked really good and strong, we kept, trimmed them up and tuned them a little, fertilized them a little bit, but they still looked good. Then we enhanced the landscape along the edge here with this border of this beautiful blue Mexican pebble. So that element right there, just that nice stone border, these can get cleaned out and stuff like that and washed off. Looks really sharp, and it's a pretty contrast there between the green shrubs and all the brick and hardscape work and stuff here. So before that was just mulch, and now, gotta always cleaning up here, but before that was just mulch. Now we've got that nice blue element there. And then finally, our finishing touch that we're working on today is these beautiful Bromeliad garden beds that are flanking either side of the entry to the building. So we just put all this stone down. Again, another totally different contrasting color with these browns and kind of beigey colors, contrasting off of the blue stone. And we're putting in mostly all bromeliads and ground orchids because these plants, they can handle just a very little bit of that sandy soil that's below and will thrive in this sort of rocky, airy environment. We've got a bunch of different varieties of bromeliads here. They're really, really pretty colors and stuff to the foliage, but they also do flower and send up fun little shoots and things like that. So we're giving them some space to be their own little specimens in this rock garden here, and it'll be a totally different, contrasting look to the rest of the real lush kind of tropical landscape that's around here. And like I mentioned, ground orchids, some of you are like, ground orchids, what? Yes, there is a plant that is in fact called a ground orchid, and this is a yellow one. There's several different colors, and you plant them right, in the ground, and they grow kind of like a daylily or something about that same size for you northerners, and you can divide them quite easily and things like that, and they just kind of keep sending up blooms all the time. So they're really, really fun. They come in several different purples and pinks and yellows and whites. Great plants. So we're dotting a few of those in this bed as well. And we just did the pots. Of course, we have a beautiful collection of aqua pots here. Just planted these up, and look at these absolutely stunning orchids that we feature in there. And some other poinsettias. These pink poinsettias are super pretty. More bromeliads. Now, because these are aqua pots, they have that water reservoir and wicking technology built and integrated right into the pots. So all of these plants are going to, continue to thrive and be super lush. But we can integrate orchids and stuff right in by just setting them right on the soil surface. And the moisture wicks right up and gives them just the right amount of moisture without planting them in and having too much moisture on them. We've got a couple others over here as well that we just planted up that I'll show you through. These are fresh planted. They feature some really beautiful bright red anthuriums there. Looks super pretty with this wandering Jew vine. And I love this kiwi dracaena back here. This will get a bit taller and have some really nice height and play with that apostle iris back in there. Really fun combination there. Again, just planted, but looking really good. So over here, I'm just continuing to lay out this bromeliad bed with some more ground orchids. Here's another one of those beautiful ground orchids. Again, I'm spacing these out to be like kind of specimens where people can really enjoy them, walk up on this bed and look at it. I'm getting soaked, but I'm happy that the irrigation is on and giving everything a bit of a drink. But anyway, so I'm going to keep laying out the rest of this stuff and get it all in the ground, and then we'll show you what it all looks like here in just a second. So I really do love bromeliads. They're really, really pretty, fun, funky, tropical, dramatically different than a lot of the stuff that I do up north. So it's fun to play around with all these cool, wacky Florida plants. But you do have to be a little careful because some of these guys can bite. As beautiful as this little plant is, as you can see, the edges have tiger sharp like teeth on them. And if you're just planting along and not thinking about it, those babies can slice up your arms like crazy. And they kind of even give you a little bit of like a rashy red dot reaction from all those little spikes. It's just kind of part of it, and I don't mind it because it goes away after a little bit, but something to be conscious of if you do have a little more sensitive skin. If you're planting bromeliads, you might want to wear gloves and long sleeves and things like that to be careful of these guys. But as you can see, they're pretty well rooted in these pots that I'm pulling them out of, but these really are an air plant. They like to be barely planted in the ground, and in fact they grow up on trees and things like that in their native natural habitat. So I'm just planting them kind of halfway in the ground and halfway in the rocks, and really just using these rocks to sort of hold them up, and they'll be really, really happy with that environment. Just really airy. They can send roots and stuff all down through the rock and wherever they want to, and the stone itself will hold it up really nicely. Now, as these bromeliads expand out and grow, they'll send out what we call pups, and little baby bromeliads come up off the side, and we can slice those off with a knife and harvest those and reroot them into a pot or something like that, and they'll grow into a bromeliad that'll look just like mama. So it's pretty fun to propagate bromeliads. It's very, very easy to do. And we can keep this bromeliad garden looking really sharp by continually keeping those pups in check. I like this variety right here a lot. This one is called Seducer. It looks pretty seductive, don't you think? Look at that color. Ay, ay, ay. All right, well, we're just about wrapping up here today at the Barbados building with this enhancement and project here, wrapping up these really cool little bromeliad pockets by the entry. And over here, my main man Chewy is just finishing up a little bit of top dressing of some more stone. So after planting in those bromeliads, there was inevitably a little bit of soil and stuff like that that got all on top of the stones during planting. So he is taking some more of this beautiful brown stone and topping up around those bromeliads just to make them look really gorgeous and finished. As you can see, the irrigation is on to give them a little bit of a water in, rinse everything down, and allows us to clean up, wrap up, and peel on out of here. Anyway, we'll catch up with you guys soon in the next video. Please do subscribe, click that bell, and we'll keep all kinds of fun, beautiful, blooming things coming your way. See y'all. Cheers.